Good morning everyone. We are back into our demonstration. Today not a live demonstration. Unfortunately we had a bit of problem with the sound and the image as well. So we are working on that, and we think that we will be able to get back to live demonstration from next week. So this morning I'm going to demonstrate how to do a lemon tart. Yeah. So lemon tart, I think it's everyone's favorite if it's done really well. So I'm going to take you through the ingredients first. So we have to make a sweet pastry. So sweet pastry, you will need some plain flour, 250 grams, 125 grams of butter, 50 grams of sugar, 1 whole egg, and a pinch of salt. Okay? And then for our filling, we have 4 eggs, 150 ml of cream, let me see, 180 sugar, and 2 whole lemon. So that's your ingredients. So we've talked about the ingredients to make that lemon tart. We are going to talk about now the equipment. So you don't need a lot of equipment really. So you need a couple of bowls. They can be plastic if you want. You need a small tray. You need some baking beans if you have them at home, ceramic baking beans, they are good. But if you haven't, you can buy some dry chickpea or some peas as well. They work really well with that. Yeah, a tray, a sieve, some cling film, a macroplane, or if you haven't got a macroplane, you can use just a cheese grater. That will do. You need a small palette knife, couple of whisk. I've put a squeezy bottle, but that, you know, you can use a spoon to do your presentation. Couple of tins like that. They can be large as well, up to 20 centimeters will do the job with that recipe. A small scale. Remember, you need to measure your equipment really well. Small rolling pin, some piping bags, and a nozzle, plain nozzle. That's all you need really. So first of all, we are going to make our sweet pastry. Remember that pastry needs to relax in the fridge, so that's your first job. So what I've done here, I've sieved the flour, I've diced the butter into small cubes, yeah, and the butter is at room temperature, so it's quite pliable really. I've got my sugar in another bowl, and I've got the egg. The egg will be cracked with the sugar, and you are going to mix them together. Once that's done, you put that on the side, and you move on to the rubbing in method. So rubbing in the butter and flour together to achieve a nice crumb really. So use your fingertip and just break down the butter into the flour. So that should take you a couple of minutes. It's like making a crumble really. When you make a crumble, you just bring everything together, and once you have achieved a nice little crumb texture, you will be able to add your liquid, which is in the form of eggs. Okay, so I've been working with the pastry for about 4 minutes now, and I've got this little fine texture, and that's what I'm looking for. Something about the salt, I didn't mention the salt. The salt went in with the flour and butter at the very beginning, so apology for that. So now what I want to do, it's a well in the center, just creating a cavity, a well. And I'm going to add all my egg and sugar in the center, just like that. And then to prevent the pastry from sticking into your hand, it's best just to incorporate all the wet and dry ingredients with a spoon, or some guys in the industry are using a fork as well. If you use your finger straight away, you will think, oh yeah, my pastry is too wet, and you tend to use or to add some flour to it when it's not necessary. That's recipe, by the way, it's foolproof. I've been using that pastry for a very, very long time now, yeah? So bring that all together, yeah? And then now I will use my finger, bring that together. Remember that when you are making pastry, you don't want to overwork the pastry, yeah? You don't want to stretch the gluten. So bring all the ingredients together. And when everything will bind, the dry, the wet, your pastry is ready. So a couple of times like that with your hands, and you can see now the pastry is almost ready. And now you can see the pastry, it's all together, nice. It's a bit soft. So what I need to do now, I'm going to put that into cling film, and I'm going to leave that in a fridge. Yeah, I'm going to leave that for about 30 minutes just to relax the gluten. So that's very, very important in the process as well, because if I use it straight away, the pastry is more likely to shrink while cooking. So very, very important to rest your pastry in the fridge. Cling film, 30 minutes in the fridge.